We have Michelle, who wants to talk to us about Noah's flood. Michelle from New York, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Not much. How you doing, Dan and Thinker?
Hey,
Doing
Michelle,
great.
how are you?
Doing great. Tell us what you want to talk about today.
Fantastic. What's your take on this is like how I want to. I'm trying to phrase it like the way I had it before. What would you two say if I said the Bible, and I'm going to tie this into Noah's flood here, but the Bible is a sort of scientifical, sometimes historical, actual book. Not all the time. I think it definitely gets some stuff wrong, but maybe. And these are ancient things in ancient times, and it's hard for us to get perspective on the past because, well, the Library of Alexandria was burned down, so we lost all of that knowledge. And maybe at one time the world and all its peoples, or some of its peoples, knew that this whole earth one time was covered in water. Because I was up hiking the Catskill Mountain Trail, and you can check that out and see how far above sea level it is. But I came across a seashell, a saltwater seashell, and I further into the woods, I came across a giant mountain of coral. And I know I'm a rock hound. I know coral when I see it.
Yes. Yeah. So listen, first of all, I can't verify if coral is specifically in the Catskill Mountains. What I do know is that we've found whale bones at the top of Mount Everest, right? And creationists look at that and say, wow, doesn't that mean that the earth flooded? So how else the whales get there? No, it's because the earth is right, but the earth is billions of years old and it's gone through lots of geological changes, right? So at some point, the Himalayas were underwater, right? So it doesn't surprise me that you would find fossils of marine life or whatever, like in the Catskills. That has nothing to do with the earth flooding 6,000 years ago, because that is what the Bible says happened, right? Which is just factually not true. You asked me what my reaction is if the Bible is a historical or scientific book. I say absolutely not. It is folklore and religious propaganda at best. I don't maybe some historical stuff.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you, Dan.
Okay.
It's folklore and it's religious mumbo jumbo. I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a book that has some okay, so what if one day they proved that and I was talking to Jonathan, the call screener, who gave me a great little he talked me up, gave me a great convo. He's a great guy. Give him a raise. Anyway,
we're a volunteer organization, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Everyone will. Yeah. He told me that actually they discovered the theory is that the Earth was actually once covered in snow, and what if somehow this Noah's flood story was in the Bible in that time was a way of saying our ancestors knew and passed on to their several generations orally that that the whole earth was covered in water before life started here.
Okay, let me get my response, and then I want Thinker to talk because I don't want to be talking this whole time. Okay, a lot of people have this idea. What if the Bible gives this? What if it's actually a broader message? And I love this because this is only, I think, almost exclusively said by people who don't read the Bible or like haven't read this story, because this story is like very explicit in what happens. Like the God of the universe, or Yahweh, is talking to a man and his family and saying, these people are sinful and we're going to kill them, and we're going to put all the animals in a boat, and it's going to rain for 40 days, and then like your people are going to like populate the earth and stuff. Like it's very explicit in its details, and people are like, no, but it's actually like a metaphor for this. Like none of that has anything to do with like the earth being covered in snow or like long-term geologic time periods. And you want to know how I know that? It's because Christians have never interpreted that way until science has given us those answers, right? And then we retrofit scientific, discoveries into what Christianity says. It's like, oh, maybe it was talking about that. Well, if it was talking about that, then Christians would have been saying that. But they never said that until science came along and validated these ideas, right? So I don't know. I kind of reject that interpretation. But Thinker, what do you think about this?
I think even just considering a worldwide flood as scientifically accurate is ridiculous. Like, have you thought about the fact that the Bible says that the water went 27 feet or 27 cubits higher than the tallest mountain? So that would be like almost 3,000 miles above the highest mountain. Like, have you?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like
Are you asking me, Thinker?
yeah.
Yeah, it gives specific measurements, like it gives like cubits or whatever on how high things were, you know.
It says I think it says 27 cubits above. That's like 3,000 miles above the highest mountain.
Yeah.
Is how high the water went.
I reject most of Noah's story. I reject pretty much all of it, the Noah's story.
You reject it.
The only part I don't reject is that one point in time in the Earth's development as an oblique spheroid, the entire landmass that we know to be the sphere globe thing that we call the planet Earth was covered in water.
I'm not even sure if that's even true. I don't even know if all of the Earth was underwater. I don't know if that's. I mean, I could be wrong about that. I'm not an expert, but like, let's say that that's true, right? Like, that's not what the Bible says happened. The Bible said it rained, and then it rains for 40 days. Again, like it's very explicit in its details. Like we can't just like retrofit. Oh, maybe it's talking about this broad geological shift that happened over thousands of years. Like, but it's not what it's saying, though, right? We're talking about different ideas.
Daniel, no, Dan, I'm sorry. Do you think that I've always, like when I was in school, I heard it taught that it was like believed that there was an asteroid that hit the Earth, and that's why all the dinosaurs died. But what if it was an asteroid storm, and it caused the tidal waves to cover all the land, all the continents?
What if the Smurf people on Mars sent the asteroids and destroyed everything? I don't know. What are we going with here?
What if well, because in the beginning of Genesis, in the first words were the earth. The correct translation is, and the earth became without form and void. And some scholars in the Christian realm believe in the pre-Adamic earth and creation, where all the dinosaurs roamed.
Okay, you lost me because like we're we're talking about something else now.
Yeah, like I think he's trying to say that this basically that the story of Noah is going back millions of years and not just the 6,000 years. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, but why? Like, why are we talking about this?
Because it connects. We're talking about this because I was saying that maybe it wasn't just one asteroid that extinguished the dinosaurs, but it was maybe a whole meteor shower, and then that's what caused the whole Earth to become covered in water.
Do you have any evidence to back that up besides maybe it could be that? Like, are scientists saying that? Do people who study this say that?
I found a giant mountain of coral where it shouldn't fucking be.
You said you found a giant what?
Oh, he said he found some coral where it shouldn't be. So therefore, a meteor storm happened across the Earth. I'm not sure if I'm making the connection here.
Therefore, Earth covered in water entirely.
I don't think that's how that works. I don't think just because you found a piece of coral in one place, that means that the entire Earth was covered in water.
It wasn't a piece. It was a whole literal giant.
Okay, I don't even care that it was a giant thing. That's not how that works. You don't point to, if I just found a piece of limestone, I don't get to say, wow, there must have been limestone all over the Earth because I found it in this one place. Do you think that's good science, Michelle?
Guess what, Dad? There is limestone all over the Earth.
Well, there is limestone because a lot of the Earth was underwater. That's true. right? But I'm saying, like, that doesn't mean it's over the entire Earth, right? That's a very different thing.
How do you know that, Dan? Dan,
How do you know that? What do you mean?
I'm trying.
I will work you into. I will work you into admitting that you're an agnostic on this subject.
No, I'm pretty fucking. I don't know. Thinker, go ahead.
I'm trying to what does this what are you trying to prove with this story? Like if you reject the rest of the theological aspects of the Noah story, like what's the point? Let's say a tsunami, like a asteroid did hit and the Earth was underwater. Okay, now what? What's the point?
We would just know more about our Earth's development. That's all.
Okay. But you don't think
figure this stuff out.
But so Michelle, I'm confused on your position because you obviously view the Bible as some sort of vessel for truth. It's at least telling you some true things, like maybe metaphorically. But you don't believe in God, maybe, right? Or do you believe in God? Like, how does this relate to why should I care about what the Bible says? Period, right?
Yeah, right. I agree. I don't think the Bible has much to say. I mean, but it's got some good poetry in it. We'll say that.
Well, then why are we talking about what the Bible says, Michelle?
And who would have told them about this flood if you're not saying that God did?
One of my points was maybe the Hebrews said their God was responsible for the whole earth being covered with water.
Okay. So you're saying this event happened and the ancient Hebrew people somehow knew about this and interpreted it as God, and so they wrote a whole story. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
How did they know about it then?
Yeah, because presumably this would have been more than the time period in which the Jewish people have existed, right? Like modern civilization isn't, as far as we know, too much older than about 10,000 years or so. And we're talking about events that would have been millions of years, right, before humans. So how do we square that hole? How do we do that?
Maybe because the ancient Jews and the ancient peoples of the world would go to places and they'd find things they would find in the ocean. And they thought, we'll write a flood story. Maybe the whole earth is covered with water.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting idea. I could vibe with you there, right? Okay. Hey, they found some limestone somewhere and they're like, limestone, we usually find this underwater. Maybe this was underwater. Maybe the whole world was underwater. Okay. That could be an idea, but that's just somebody telling stories about the rocks that they see, right? That doesn't mean that it's true, right?
That's him telling the story about himself, because that's what he did. Like he's literally just putting himself in that position and saying that the ancient Jews
you are right. Yeah, about the coral. Yeah, that's true.
What?
You realize that you were saying that maybe they did what I did, and so coral and there was water everywhere.
Right.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so what are we doing here, Michelle? What's going on? Some people told a story about some rocks they saw, maybe, and they wrote it down, and that thing became the Bible, or at least part of the Bible. Is that the conclusion that we're coming to, or?
I don't know what conclusion we should come to, Daniel.
Okay.
I don't know.
But why do you need to believe that there was a worldwide flood? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if you don't believe in God,
I don't believe in. I guess let me.
Hold on for a second. Let me get my
flood.
Can I ask my question?
Sorry, there's a delay.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out why is it so important to you that there was a worldwide flood? Like, if you don't believe in God, right? Science is not backing up that there was a worldwide flood.
Right. Or at least at a time when humans would have been around to see it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, why do you need this to be true? This is what I don't understand. For you.
Okay, I will share that with you. Very personal and something that's close to my heart. Have the both of you seen A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe portraying John Nash?
Yes, I have. Have you seen the movie?
Not.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, and You haven't seen that movie, Thinker?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay.
I don't watch a lot of TV.
Well, I'll just share a little bit.
Okay.
I'll just share a little bit of that. When Jonathan Nash was sitting and drinking liquor, whiskey, scotch with his friend Henry, he was talking. And he said, "I have to see through to the governing dynamics. I have to come up with my original theory because that's the only way I'll ever truly matter." And for me, I want to come up with more than one thing that will cause people to remember me after I'm gone. And I know that's all vanity.
Well, there are ways to do that. I don't think it's a thing to be ashamed of to say I want to matter, right? But I do think we need to think about how we can do that, right? Because the people who do come up with the scientific facts that we know and understand today, they worked very hard to come up with those facts, right? They didn't go on a hike and say, wow, here's a piece of coral. This must have been what happened, right? There had to be a lot of research, sometimes get on the hands and knees and digging, sometimes looking under a microscope, writing a lot of papers, peer review, right? All those people had to work towards that. So I think if you want to do that, and if that's really what it comes down to, there are avenues to do that. Right. If you get the proper education to do it, you work in the proper fields, you don't even have the right education. I guarantee you, Michelle, that there are places in your area that could use your help as a research assistant, even without the education, right? And could probably train you to do that if you want to do that, but I don't think this is the way to do it.
I thought it would be so much fun to do that for a living, be an actual archaeologist.
Yeah. Why not do it? Why not do it, Michelle? What's stopping you?
Well, I'm taking care of my mother right now.
Okay, so you got some stuff going on, but you know what? You don't have to be an archaeologist to matter or to make a difference, right? Or to contribute to science and our understanding of the world. I think if you look out there, look for volunteer opportunities, you can find ways to do that, right? But let's not make stuff up just because we need to feel like we matter, right? Does that make sense?
Right.
Let's try to do it the right way. Let's try to find stuff. Let's try to find true things for the way they are through good methods. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought it would be an interesting conversation too. So.
Certainly an interesting conversation. Yeah. If that was your goal, you did it. So good job. But listen, Michelle, we have other people that need to talk to us today. So is there anything else you want to get off your chest before we let you go?
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Well, that took a weird turn. What do you think?
Yeah. But it's interesting why people, focus on stuff like this. Like that was a really interesting reason too. Like I want to come up with an answer that nobody's been able to come up with before so that I'm remembered, right? That's interesting.
That's a very honest answer. And you know what? That's maybe a radical honesty I don't typically expect from people. I know you probably don't hear that kind of honesty.
Oh, I do.
Maybe you don't.
Yeah.
I never heard that
on TikTok
before.
Live.
I never heard somebody say, "I made this up because I want to matter." That's a new one.
No, not
for
that.
me.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
okay.
I thought you was asking like the type of honesty. Like I be hearing some crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
I'm sure you.
I
don't doubt that.
No.
That's that says something about the human psyche, isn't it? Like why did I still believe? Part of it maybe was because I was afraid of going to hell. I don't think that was all of it, but if looking back, that was probably some of it, right?
There was a lot of it for me.
Yeah.
Plus I thought I was talking to God when I was speaking in tongues.
Right. Yeah.
So
like if you think you have a divine connection, that's kind of hard to shake, right?
Yeah.
But
then I sit and I ask myself, like, what the fuck was I thinking to think that I was actually speaking a language?
Yeah. And you know what? Like that's why I also like spaces like ours, not to toot our own horns, but I like that we can challenge people on ideas that other people may be uncomfortable talking about because it's an uncomfortable subject sometimes, but I think that we can bring stuff out in people. Like that's probably something Michelle telling us that's an honor, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think Michelle would be comfortable just saying that to anybody, and for some reason they felt comfortable sharing. So I appreciate that, Michelle, at least. But go do some real science, really. Like go help out your local scientists if you really want to contribute. And I know you got other obligations, but I'm sure there's ways. I'm sure there's ways.